What's up, guys? Skippy Africanus here, and welcome back to another Cartridge of the Week episode, this week featuring the 310 Cadet, or 310 Martini, or the 310 Greener. Now, this cartridge was quite the tricky one to nail down. Initially, I took, like, the case length and the bullet diameter, and, tried a variety of combinations on what I thought, the cartridge would be called, like, like 8x28 or, like, 8x27, stuff like that. Or just looked up 32 caliber bullets because, well, it's a 32 caliber bullet, and was finding absolutely nothing. Well, I actually did find the cartridge, and it just so happened to be that when I found it, I just kind of wrote it off for whatever reason. I think I was tired, but I actually just, scrolled past it. And then I finally made a post on iFunny, and one of my subscribers was able to nail it down. Shout out to KBowler2, and he was the one that told me it was 310 Cadet. And, well, funny enough, when I went on the wiki to go check it out, I clicked the image twice, and I'll be darned, it was the exact same type of cartridge. So first off, we will do what we usually do, and we will take a look at the head stamp. Now, yeah, I was thinking it wasn't going to show up on camera. You can kind of vaguely see an O right there, I think it is. Or I'll flip it around so it's top to bottom. Okay, actually that's reading a little bit more clearly. So anyways, yes, we have it looks like an M6, but when I looked up the list of all or not military, but the list of all cartridge head stamps, there is no M6 anywhere. So I'm under the assumption that that is actually an MG. And that would actually make a lot of sense, as it would land it right at Small Arms Ammunition Factory number 2 in Footscray, Melbourne, Australia, which this is you'll see later in the video that it coming from Australia, it makes a lot of sense. And as per the bottom, it looks like an O as the second letter, but there's something before it. It looks like a U. I couldn't find, if it's a UO, I couldn't find anything that would relate to. So, yeah, unfortunately, this isn't a very readable head stamp. It is coming up a little bit better on camera, but yeah, that's the most I can gather from the head stamp, is that this cartridge is from Australia, which, as I mentioned, will make sense later in the video. Now, the 310 Cadet was introduced in 1900 by W.W. Greener, hence why they sometimes refer to the cartridge as 310 Greener, and was intended to be used to teach marksmanship. And Greener went with the smaller cartridge due to the amount of space needed with the larger 303 British cartridge, and cool enough, much of the 310 was designed to mimic the rainbow trajectory of 303, but within a much smaller distance. Now, as mentioned, this cartridge is from Australia, and you will note that it has a jacket. Now, this may not seem too weird at first, but traditionally this cartridge featured a simple lead bullet with no jacketing. The reason this Australian example has one is due to the fears of a Japanese invasion, which as World War II progressed was becoming a more and more real type of scenario. Now, Australia figured that their cadet rifles wouldn't be the best thing to repel an enemy invasion with, I mean, obviously, but they figured that, it would still be better than nothing, so they begun producing the 310 Cadet with a full metal jacket, with the intent of, using them in the event that the Japanese did invade. Now, given the head stamp of this particular example, I can't tell you if it was, made during World War II or maybe a little bit after, as they would continue to make the FMJ variant post-World War II. And I was also able to find out if this particular example used smokeless or black powder, as the 310 caliber tended to use both of the powders. Now, given the later date of this cartridge, I would be more inclined to believe that it is using smokeless powder, but I couldn't tell you with 100% certainty. And as with powder selection, I'm also not 100% certain on the ballistics and such of this specific version of 310 Cadet. However, I can say that on average, the cartridge features anywhere from a 110 to 120 grain bullet, flying at around 1,500 feet per second. There was some loads that actually went 30 FPS faster, but around 1,500 feet per second is what you're looking at. Now, this caliber is obviously quite the rare caliber. I mean, the little hunt we talked about earlier kind of tells you that already, with the last full-scale production of the cartridge ending in 1955. And that was in Australia, mind you, making the cartridge all the more rarer down here. Now, of course, when they imported Martini Cadet rifles, they definitely imported a decent amount of ammunition with them, but it still doesn't help that this cartridge wasn't originally made here, so it's going to make it all the more rarer. Of course, there are still people that reload for the round, and while I heard a lot of them were using the 3220 casings to make 310 Cadet casings, I did see some 310 Cadet casings for sale on an older listing that used the 7.62 Nagant revolver casing as the parent case, which we have a 7.62 Nag Gun revolver case, and yeah, I guess they do look kind of similar. You just need to cut it down a little bit. The rim looks a little bit smaller, but I guess supposedly you can use these as a parent case. As mentioned, you have to cut them down and expand it a little bit, but yeah. But anyways, I think that is going to do it for this week's Cartridge of the Week episode featuring the 310 Cadet, or as mentioned, 310 Martini or 310 Greener. I hope you all enjoyed the video as much as I personally enjoyed making it, and I will see y'all next time.